Hello. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is hard. Whether you're forgiving somebody else or you're forgiving yourself, forgiveness is hard. It takes work and it's just something that it's hard for us to own up to most generally. Well, I'm just going to be quite raw with you guys this video and just tell you guys I've had to be forgiving myself for the last week. It's taken me a week to really forgive myself and say, it's okay, you know? So I told you guys in the last video that I'd been working on something and it kind of took me to where I needed to be off of this and not focus on YouTube. Well, let me tell you what it was. I told you guys and have told you guys for a while, I had to take my NCE to get my licensing for counseling. And NCE is a 200 question test that is very hard and it has to be passed in order for us to get our license. I get it. Well, let me tell you guys something. I failed. I failed. Now, I didn't fail by a lot. I failed by 5. I failed by 5 points. I made an 89 or 85 and I needed an 80 or I made an 84 and I needed an 89. I failed. Talk about beating myself up, being so angry at myself, about feeling like a failure, about feeling like I have let myself down, let my family down, let you guys down, let my peers down. I felt like a failure and I feel so horrible. Felt so horrible. And I came out of last Friday, I came out of that test and I was like, I'm not mad at myself. I'm not mad at myself. And I've been talking very positive and but the thing of it is I still hadn't forgave myself for failing by 5 points. And when I tell you that I have people that have passed this exam with a 72, it sucks knowing that you made an 84 and needed an 89 for this one because the scores on this, they're not across the board. So they're based off of the people in front of you's scores, like the people that are previously taking it. That's how they kind of gauge your scoring. Okay. I studied hard. And when I say hard, I mean I dedicated every ounce of me to this test. And to be honest, I knocked it out of the park. Like I did way better and did so much more than I thought I could, but I couldn't tell you that and believe it until yesterday today, when I'm reliving the moment that I was at this time last week. I can now tell you it's okay. And I forgive myself for failing a test, you know? Um, I had to do a lot of thinking back about what I could have done differently, what I needed to do differently, what should have I done. I had to remember the importance of this event. And, I also had to remember what I've been through this year and that there was a point this year that I didn't know if I would be sitting down for that test, and I told y'all this is raw. So if you don't want to see raw, move on. There was a time, last June that I didn't know if I would ever be able to counsel again. And it was the most devastating time to be with my hands up in the air. Um, so I felt a lot of guilt when I got that failing score. I felt like I had let my company down that I work for. Again, there's just so much guilt and so much came with that. And it was so hard. And yet it was such a sigh of relief. I don't know how to tell you guys that I was so mad at myself for failing, but I was so proud of myself for sitting there and taking that test. And then Monday came and I called to see about what I need to do to get back into this. What do I need to do to retake this test? What do I do to repair that failing score? Like, what do I do? Because I know what I'm doing. That test does not define who I am as a therapist, who I am as a friend, who I am as a significant other or spouse, who I am as a daughter, a sister, a mother. That test doesn't define me, but it's what gives me my end goal, you know? And so I had to do a lot of forgiving of myself. And I had to give empathy to myself, and I had to truly just let it go. And the tears that I feel, the feelings that I feel at this moment is that, I think about how hard I am on myself. I think about what I've been through, and it's not easy to tell anybody that I failed. Matter of fact, I didn't even tell some people that I was taking my test. Why? Because I didn't want to have to tell them that I failed if I failed. But I went into that test 100%, y'all. Like I was retaking these practice tests and retaking these practice tests and redoing and redoing it. And I was doing good. Like I started out crappy. Like I was like, dang, I know nothing. And the thing that gets me is like when we talk about in counseling, the modalities of counseling, like we all lean to a model of realistic cognitive behavior, person centered, just whatever it is. We all lean towards a modality, but we all also kind of mix and sprinkle a lot of modalities in to be able to help our clients to the best that we can. And I had clients like I have this one client's her family, her her grandmother was like she was my hype man. Like when I seen her on that Tuesday for one grandkid, and I was like, okay, I won't be here Friday because I got to take this test. She's like, you got it, you got it, you got it. Like she was my biggest hype man. And so then when it came back around and I seen her this last Tuesday, she's like, so did we get 100? And I'm like, oh no. And I kind of teared up a little bit and I'm like, I didn't pass. And she's like, what? She said, and she's like, you know what? It doesn't matter how. It matters that I know how you work with my grandkids. And it matters that I know that test doesn't take from you as their therapist, and you're not going to let that failure affect how you counsel them. And I needed that. And I think that was the moment that I truly said, dang, I'm really mad at myself and I'm not forgiving myself for failing. I think that was my true moment, my aha. Because here this lady has trusted me with her family. She's been through my stroke. She's set out on hold for a week or two while I've had to, repair from that. She's kept coming back, and her words were very forgiving of me. And if she can forgive me, I guess, or not see it as bad, why was I not forgiving myself? Um, So it's just been one of those weeks. I didn't really talk about it on Monday even because I wasn't there. I told William I was never going to make this video. I was never going to make this video because I didn't want to tell people I failed. But who would I be? The real failing would be as if I couldn't be here and be raw and honest with you guys and say it's hard. It's hard when you want something so bad. And it's a test that sets you apart. That test, that score has to be perfect. And it's not like I got a 0. It's not like I got a 30. I got an 84. Like in reality, most terms, people would be like, that's pretty decent. Well, decent's not what I needed. So now I am in this thing where I can't even re-register for the test till June. So I've given myself a week off, and I might give myself another few days off. I don't know. I know that last Friday when I came in, I told William I have a headache and I'm tired, and I slept. I slept. I got up and I talked to him on the phone for a little bit, and then I went back to sleep and I just slept. I was so exhausted because all I'd been doing is using brain work, the brain work. And therapy comes so naturally to me. But remembering when Freud did something in 1936, I don't know. I don't know, lady. I don't know. Um, it's very realistic when you walk in there. Like when I set, like even sitting here, I have my leg up in my chair and I'm comfortable and I'm not worried. Well, I get told that, hey, when you go in there, you have to keep your feet on the floor and you can't wear any jewelry and this, and this. And I'm like, okay. Like they take your glasses, they put them on the scanner to make sure you don't have anything to cheat. You do handprints like you're going to prison or something. Like it was big, right? But I was still breathing and I was doing really good. And I was very confident and I didn't let that hold me back. I was like, okay, you got this. Well, I didn't. I didn't have it. And here I am being real with you. And you know what? I'm going to pass that test. And I am only better for having to go through that and come out. One of the things about retaking my test in June is it'll be a year since my stroke. So it's kind of like, wouldn't it be amazing if I walked out of that a year later after my stroke and kicked that score's ass? Because I feel like I'm gonna. I feel like that's what this is going to be. I feel like it's going to be my 1 year celebration of still being alive and having the most minimal damage that I could have had. And it's going to be okay. And until then, I forgave myself. I have taken responsibility. You know that I should have done this years ago. COVID, damn COVID. And then just being an overworker. There's lots of excuses. I should have just taken it long ago. But I didn't. So I've taken the responsibility of all that I need to take responsibility of. I'm repairing the damage. I'm taking time to acknowledge what I need to do to beat this, right? I'm not going to let myself feel guilty. Okay. So once this video is done, I'm going to squash it because I'm not holding on to that guilt. I did a fucking amazing. And I applied every ounce of my brain, my heart, my soul. And it'll be okay. And I'll think back on this come June and I'll be like, why did you make that video crying? Well, because this is my motivation today. This is who I am today. And I cannot go on to tell you guys about how to work through everyday life situations if I don't give you the real me. I've tried to keep a lot of things out of me and my story, what I'm doing. But this is a different side. This is me telling you that I'm okay and I'm forgiving myself and I love myself and I'm very proud of just going to set for this test. And if I take anything away from that test, it's that you've had a really shitty year and you still did really fucking good. And that you love your job. And the company that I work for, nobody has been mean. Nobody has said anything besides, get it. I'm not even worried. They all have this unborn faith in me, or unreal faith in me. And I think it's because they all know what I've been through and they've all know my struggles. And some of what you guys don't know is that my memory has just kind of been, since I've had my stroke, it's just been hit and miss. And so that study error was so real. But I did it, guys. And as for today, I can say I've forgiven myself for not passing the first time. And I hope that you guys can continue to listen to me and understand I didn't say this to, lose anybody from listening, but to tell you guys that if I want to help you guys work through real reality, whether it's not passing a test or not losing a pound or having a bad day or anything, we can do this. We can come back. We can rise above. We can make it happen. We can make a turn of events. We can make anything happen with that we want to. And sometimes we need support. And sometimes we need a friend to listen to us. And sometimes we need, you know, somebody just to hear us out. So I just want to be really raw with you guys and let you know a little bit of touch on what I meant by that last video, but not only that, held myself accountable and take responsibility. And if you guys hear it any other time, but now I'm going to say it now and I'll probably say it again. Come June, I will pass that test and I will be an LPC and I will be certified to do counseling because it's going to happen and I'm going to kick ass. And so I'm kind of glad I've readjusted this to Monday, Fridays because I will be able to do that for you guys. I will be able to continue and maintain that very effectively. Maybe some sprinkles of something else in between. But I am going to hold myself accountable and continue to study and just do what I need to do because I need to continue to work on that. So for the time being, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and thank you for letting me be vulnerable with you guys. And, I'm still here for anybody. Just because I didn't pass this test doesn't mean that my desire and passion to be there for anybody isn't still there. So I hope you guys continue to watch. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell for future notifications. And I'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, guys.